latest edition of the Dugout with Sports today. Obviously, today is one of those days where not really a lot of cricketing action. That's not to say there won't be any games, but every single game that is being played there and thereabout from now, well, it's going to be a dead rubber of a game. So really not a lot to talk about, and unless we get a few surprise results here or there, obviously not much to look out for. I think we're all just waiting for the Super 8s at this point in time, or as one of our dear family members referred to it as the Champions Trophy of the T20 World Cup, where the top 8 teams are playing. It's a good one, so shout out. I think it was Mayank Madan. Any which way, I mean, before we get to obviously what we're here to talk about, and that is of course India's group, which is Group 1 of the Super 8s.
Super 8s, yeah.
I think it's only fair because it's just been doing the rounds all day, and I've seen a lot of talk of it even on the broadcasters. I mean, there seems to be a lot of chatter around Babar Azam's future as a captain.
There's a lot of talk, on many fronts as far as Pakistan cricket is concerned, and like we guys were discussing after the match as well yesterday, Pakistan have found themselves, it's not the first time that they find themselves in a hole in the middle of a tournament, albeit this time around they were already in a hole before their campaign ended. Now that it officially ended day before, and yesterday's game was all but a dead rubber for them. That too, by the way, they ensured that they made an absolute match out of it. It's funny that Pakistan cricket moves in cycles. If you see, there was the same talk around the 2022-23 Asia Cup as well. The Asia Cup that happened right before the World Cup. Then the World Cup, and then here you see, so every ICC tournament that comes about, and there is some sort of Royal Rumble, some sort of circus, Royal Circus, as now it's being called by many in the cricketing circles, that Pakistan seems to find itself in. And so much being talked about in terms of there being a need for evolution, and when you say evolution, you're looking for a new mindset that the team is now looking at, or rather direly needs. Then there's a talk about change in personnel. Some feel that there has to be a complete overhaul. The others feel no, that the players are fine. Imad Wasim, for that matter, said that it's not with the personnel, perhaps it's down to just intention. It's in the head, it's intention that needs to change. And then there are those who feel that there needs to be a change in captaincy as well, and it's that last bit that's been really making a lot of noise, because Babar Azam did come for a press conference, I believe, after the match got over. There was of course that natural question about captaincy being thrown at him, and not just for Babar Azam, who, by the way, as many would have thought, did go ahead and say that that's for the management to decide. He is not throwing in the towel, I believe.
I remember I was the one who did that video, so I went through a lot of his quotes, because again, he spoke a lot. There were a lot of quotes.
And
so
I think one of the things that even I think Shane did
more than he batted.
Yeah, way more. I think whatever time he didn't get in the middle, he ensured that he used it in the press conference. But all that aside, what I did see when it came to, what he's saying is, and it really bothered me, was a lack of accountability on his part.
Yes.
He basically was offered the chance by one of the journalists that, listen, as a captain, do you take responsibility for this? And he said, no. It's not just the responsibility of one person. It is a collective failure. It's, all 15 players. I cannot be batting for these players here. That, which I say, fine. He's not wrong about that. But as a captain, surely it would be a point where you say, listen, okay, my leadership wasn't good enough. My batting definitely wasn't good enough.
Exactly.
So I'll take responsibility.
This is where you actually expect then a batter to own up, albeit a captain as well. On top of that, if he's the captain, then the way that he's been batting, it's made for global chatter now. It's not just limited to Pakistan's frontiers anymore. Everyone has come out to criticize the way, and some of the Indian batters, by the way, have faced similar heat. So it's not like Babar Azam is being treated differently. His style of play, not just Babar Azam's, his erstwhile deputy as well in Mohammad Rizwan. Mohammad Rizwan's
the Rizbar duo.
His style of play has been put in question, and there is merit in that debate, because you look at some of their numbers as well. They don't really make for T20 numbers. Look at how they've played in a couple of those matches. Look at the way that they played yesterday. Look at the way that the two of them batted against India as well. So this run a ball thing is archaic. We've held Indian players accountable for that. So you have to be upping the ante. And I liked what Virender Sehwag said, maybe, and nothing wrong. It's just then you accept who you are as a player and then devote yourself to that particular format. If you are that safe player, and yes, he puts a price on his wicket, you know that he puts a price on his wicket. His wicket is not there for anyone to just come and take. He really makes the bowlers toil a lot. But that can perhaps work in Test cricket. It can work in ODI cricket. Here, the price of your wicket isn't determined by how long you stay at the crease. It's about how effective you are for whatever short duration that you are at the crease.
True, and I think it's about seizing the opportunities that Pakistan had in two of their games against India and Ireland, where they could really just play with some kind of intent and try and finish the match maybe in 16 or 17 overs, irrespective of the pitch conditions, and that's why I think they have been a subject of scrutiny or maybe a subject of troll for social media, because they haven't really walked the talk. Like, there have been a lot of things that, we are a good team, we used to rule the T20 cricket. I don't know when it really happened. Yeah, I can say that from
early days
2007 to 2010.
See,
definitely.
First two editions, well, finalists both the time.
Simple. And 2010 was semi-final.
Champions as well. So yes, they had a good run. But again, it's a thing of the past. It's like living in glory days, days of the past.
And what's worse is that initially they were one of the teams that embraced it. So they were kind of more enthusiastic about the format, but they haven't evolved.
True.
It's that simple. They've just not evolved from that period of batting. I mean, even if you look at who were their dashers back then, beyond maybe a Misbah.
There's Misbah, there was Afridi.
Yeah, but Afridi failed more often than not than he succeeded. I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of Lala, but he was far more effective as a bowler and more consistent as a bowler than he ever was as a batter across formats. And I'm including ODIs and tests here as well. When he got going, sure, he'd win you a game.
Yeah.
They never really had those, hitters in their playing 11 consistently.
Misbah,
Hafiz, Imran Nazir and all these players.
Shoaib Malik was a little bit more on the...
Yeah. Then Omar Akmal was there for some time.
Mother from another brother.
Yeah. But then, I really liked one of the points that Shane mentioned in his video, that Babar Azam did say that it's collective failure, but then according to me, and I think this is something that I even mentioned in the live that we did the previous night, I think he has to take responsibility for Pakistan's
failure. He's
failure.
saying things like,
it's as simple as
everything that he's saying applies to himself. Yeah. He's saying stuff like, the players need to step up and play fast. I'm like, have you looked at a mirror?
Exactly.
Have you looked at your numbers? Listen, boss, you're right. Other players also have to do it, but you are the captain. You will lead by example. Yeah. And that really is the problem, because, truth be told, the tone is always set by the skipper. Yep. We know that. And the skipper here himself is, looking to bat, put a price on his wicket, and looking to bat long, 4,000 runs, most number 50s, of 50s, most number of 40 plus scores. Who cares? As Chris Shrikant rightly put it, he can't be doing this tuk-tuking all the time in T20 cricket. Not my words.
Said that?
They are not my words. They are Chris Shrikant's words. I remember doing it. There was a full reaction video I had done. It's there on the channel if you guys want to check it out. And those were his words. He said he can't be doing this tuk-tuking. He said very clearly, he's saying, you compare him to Kohli saying 4,000 runs, but look at his strike rate. His strike rate is 112, 115. A bit of an exaggeration, it's about 120 odd, but the point still stands.
Chika being at his cheeky best, but then I would really.
And again, mind you, this is coming from Chika, someone who even in Test cricket batted as if it was T20. This is Chika we're talking about.
This is where I think I would really like to bring one point forward to your attention, that I was reading a story just before coming here that Inzamam-ul-Haq is actually surprised that Pakistan lack middle order batting options. Now that's where I think the Pakistan Super League and even the National T20 League have to be brought into focus, because there have been multiple brilliant performances from a lot of middle order players, and then if they aren't still good enough or maybe capable enough to step up to that international level, play for Pakistan, perform consistently, then I think the question should not just be limited to the PCB. Then we really, once again, I think we have to look at the quality of the PSL also for that matter, because let me remind you that it was the same tournament where Shadab Khan ended as one of the leading run getters and one of the leading wicket takers also. He even batted at number 3 or 4 for Islamabad United, and even took them to the title also this year.
Reminds me of one
and
in
that's
the
where
Hasaranga and the Lanka Premier League.
Yeah, true.
Top run getter, top wicket taker, title
man of the
winner,
match,
MVP of the tournament,
And,
everything.
Yeah, and I think
Hasaranga and the Lanka
Hasaranga.
Premier League.
Lankan Premier League,
He was.
But that's where I think you see from Shadab Khan's perspective, or maybe for all these players also. I think PSL. I remember reading a tweet a few months back. It was written that PSL is a tournament which comprises of Pakistan players and those who haven't been selected in the IPL.
Yeah, that is correct.
I'm just wondering because you made a point about the quality of the PSL and the National T20 League, etc. They're planning to have a clash as far as the IPL and
Next
PSL
year,
is
the Champions
concerned in terms of the
Trophy.
scheduling. In terms of the scheduling, now if that happens,
Who's going to play the PSL?
Imagine how the quality of PSL really going to shoot up.
And in fact, it gets worse because it's not just a change for 2025. It's not just a change for them. It is something that they're eyeing as a permanent change because it clashes. Normally, if they have the January-February window, it's more often than not clashing with Ramzan and stuff like that. They want to avoid that because during Ramzan time, you don't generally get like ads and stuff, right? So because of that, they want to try and avoid it, and they want to make it a permanent thing that they're going in competition with the IPL. Good luck, PSL.
Good luck, exactly. Good luck, and good luck to Pakistan in that case. If they're looking at how IPL is looked at as the feeder system for the national team, then good luck. Good luck harnessing talent.
And I think we are joined by Nikhil. Hi, Nikhil. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys. How's it? It's good morning here, 9:30 odd. We're just leaving for India's practice session, which is going to start in another half an hour or so. Hopefully, we'll reach there in time. But even if we don't, because we are far away from where the ground is, about an hour away, and we're trying to figure out transport because we've got to realize that we've left US shores where everything is easily available. Now we're in the Caribbean where everything is tough. Last night, we reached our hotel at 11 o'clock. We hadn't had dinner. So, since we're staying in a nice property, you know how typical it is in India to just go to a restaurant. So, restaurant here shuts at 9:30. So, we have no problem. At least we'll order room service. If not, the entire menu, at least sandwiches. Nothing. Nothing after 9:30. Everything is shut. So, no dinner. And even now to get like Miami, New York, you just walk down, hail a cab, get an Uber. There's no Uber, no hailing a cab. So it's going to be a tough few days coming up, but it's going to be like that throughout the Caribbean. So right now we're trying to figure out our transport. Also trying to figure out all other logistics that you have of getting data on the phone. Because remember, we've skipped countries. We've come to a different place. So even arranging that, right now I'm joining you via Wi-Fi. So, as soon as I step out, I won't even have that connection.
When you say that, Nikhil, something comes to my mind, and that is going forward, eat your vegetables timely and don't trouble your hotel.
Trouble? I mean, you pay money to the hotel, to be troubled. You pay money so that you can trouble them. What's the difference between staying in an Airbnb and a hotel? The difference is in an Airbnb, there's no service. So, which is why Airbnb rates are cheaper.
Correct.
Why are hotel rates, and this is a nice 5-star property, why are hotel rates more expensive? Because they offer service. But there's no service here, my friend. So, it's a beautiful place though. A room is awesome. And, what happens when you're in India or you're in the US or wherever you're traveling, whichever hotel you're staying, you feel very business-like. You feel like, okay, you're at work, right? So everything is available. There's a business center, there's work, just hail a cab, do all of that. And remember, this is a holiday place. This is not a place where people come for work. Everyone here is on a holiday mode. So we get inside a property, the next thing is going to be like kilometers away. It's not like you can just walk out to a market and pick a coffee or a subway. It's like everything is going to be far, far away. So if you're in this hotel, the closest shop you might get will be a couple of kilometers. And it's not you can hail a cab or anything like that. You'll have to book a car. The car will have to come from a place. So, it's tough working here. Not because of for two reasons. One, everything is not easily available. And secondly, you don't feel like working here because everyone else is on a holiday. So imagine people around you, everyone that is here is in beach slippers and shorts, and everyone's on a holiday. You're the only people, dressed up in a trouser or a jeans or a shirt and carrying your luggage with you and talking business. You have to be at a certain time. Nobody else is in a hurry because everyone else is on a holiday. Very different to if you're staying in a hotel in a business-like city, right? So, yeah, that's what we're experiencing right now.
Amazing. I mean, I didn't think we'd be getting a hotel update of this sort, but here we are. I mean, it's quite the surreal experience. Makes me appreciate general stuff like Wi-Fi a lot more.
Yeah. Hey, it's fun.
You know why I share these? Why I share these experiences? Because I think our viewers they want to all live or be around the Indian team and soak in the atmosphere of what's happening. And I think some of these tidbits help them understand where they are, how things have changed. So, for example, look at the Indian team. All this while they were not reclusive, but the access to them was very limited. If you noticed in the US, the security was very tough, and then you were staying in big cities, so not too many places to go out, unless of course you're going out for a coffee or you're going shopping. See what's the first image that you've seen from players here. They're on the beach with their t-shirts off, playing a game of volleyball, easy accessibility, all of that changes. So the entire environment kind of changes.
Yeah. Since you mentioned volleyball, Nikhil, just to understand where you placed, like you said, you're a fair distance away from where the practice is supposed to happen and from the stadium as well. But how far are you from the place where some volleyball was played?
Also, pretty far. I know that place, that hotel. I've stayed there in 2007 during the 50th World Cup. That's where the team is staying. So that's the other side. They're much closer to the ground. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna join you in a second, right? The lady might help us with a car. So allow me to just exit and come back later. Bye.
Sure.
That's okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so
what this also reminds me is, listening to Nikhil's stories, it reminds me of India's tour last time around. And the logistical issues that the team played. I remember there were reports of, there being not proper Volvos and not big buses. They had to make do with those smaller vehicles, and players had to then leave in batches. They weren't particularly happy about it, but it just happens. I remember, I think they were in Dominica when there was a lot of issue with regards to food availability as well. What kind of food was then being offered to the Indian team, and Dominica were one of the smaller islands over there. So these issues do happen over there. Nothing new as far as the Windies is concerned, and maybe you can't really help it as well, because you think of some of the Indian cities, or you go to hill stations for that matter, you notice a visible change in terms of the way people work, the way people live their lives, and it is an early shutdown for them. You really cannot change that. No matter who's in town.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of hill station life, you know that come 7:38, most places are just shut. You're not going to be finding people out there in a hurry. Maybe if you go to some of your more mainstream hill stations, you'll have a mall road or something. But that's the extent of it. Generally speaking, life just pretty much gets shut off. It's very much a day place. And even the Caribbean, again, it doesn't really surprise me for two reasons. One, obviously, there is the economic factor to consider. And second is just how island life works. It's far more relaxed. It's not very urban as what we are used to.
There's no hustle bustle per se.
Exactly.
And if it is a destination like Goa for that matter, it is a party place. It's you go there to relax, to just wind down, and the people over there as well, they're not used to the hustle bustle. You will not see people flocking to the metro station, suited, booted, or whatever, with their tie on, looking to catch the bus or something like that. Those things don't happen over there. Yes, they've got an economy of their own, a very self-sufficient one, but it comes from other factors and not just corporate structures and corporate jobs.
And same, I think, can pretty much be said about Kasoli, because I think it's more of a military place, or the military area. It's more of a day place, wherein I think towards the night it's I think completely dark.
Yeah. And take Bombay for example, how fast paced it is. Even Delhi is slow in comparison, and over there
you've just offended a lot of Delhiites with that statement.
But it is true. You know that Bombay in comparison to Delhi, while there can be many comparisons, and I'm glad Siddharth Vishwanathan is not here, since we touch upon the
you should know this. I'll just stop this conversation.
I thought you were asking me to enact him.
No one can do that.
One of him is enough.
Yeah, but he once said, and I'm not even kidding you, that Mumbai street food or Mumbai food is better than Delhi food.
And he stands by it.
Till now.
And he stands by it.
Has he gone to Daryaganj till now?
The thing is, I've been telling the man to go explore and go eat at proper places. He's stuck here in Noida. He doesn't want to go on his week offs. In fact, tomorrow also, since he's not going to be here, let me in fact just give him another reminder of going to Delhi and trying some good food places.
Authentic good food.
Why don't you accompany him?
Oh, yeah, I'll need another off then.
and some calming medicine.
No, but at least
because
he's
taking
ready to.
Siddharth in this heat, I might just require.
No, he's actually ready to accompany him.
Food will go anywhere. Let's be frank. Any which way, bringing the conversation back, and I think I agree with Harshit. Yeah, hustle bustle you'll see in urban cities. You're not going to see that in islands, but you know who's going to be up in the hustle bustle no matter what? The Indian team. Of course, our dear colleagues who are there for work. The Indian team may be there for a lot more fun work in the sense that they're playing, the sport of their love, but they're also there for a World Cup. It's big time. It's that phase of the tournament now. It's the business end. The one end where as an Indian fan, you tend to get a little nervous.
You tend to get nervous. Going by previous record, it's been a phase that you've really tottered in many a times in the past now, and now the question really is, does it happen again, or is there a surprise? Now, are you breaking the mold? Now the question is, are you breaking the mold? Because it will come across as a bit of a surprise. Is every Indian fan out there confident of India now reaching the final or even winning it? You'll get mixed answers. And that's to do with the history now of the Indian team. Having said that, it does look like while there were some questions whether they would make into the top 4 or not, now that a certain New Zealand is out of contention as far as the top 8 are concerned, and they're not going to be there, otherwise they would have been C1 and India would have played New Zealand in Barbados. Now though, what's happening is they are playing Afghanistan over there, which comes with its own set of challenges, but then that's a team less that you were looking at a stumbling block. Afghanistan, you played a series against them prior to the IPL. You got the better of them as well. Yes, it got down to 2 super overs in that one particular match.
Yeah, last game.
But even then, you would rather take Afghanistan than New Zealand. And now India's picture looks much more clearer as far as the top 4 finish is concerned.
But see, that's the thing. You're right about reaching the top 4. I think now is much easier that you do in fact have Afghanistan. But here's the thing: Afghanistan, this tournament have been a very, very different team.
I think between one, if you were to pick, who would you?
No, of course Afghanistan. But I don't think I'm looking at it like that, because again, if you look at some of the matches, the way they've gone. And by the way, you have to remember that the Afghanistan we faced was not a full strength Afghanistan team. There was no Rashid Khan. Rashid that time was dealing with an injury. He was even missing the SA20, which was taking place at that point, and there was no full fitness for him. He in fact, I think, regained full fitness just before the IPL. And
now he played in a T20 series, I think, against Bangladesh before UAE. Sorry, UAE.
Before the IPL.
And
again, this team right now looks very different. I'm not saying they would be that much of a threat, but again, finer margins, and the fact that they have
threat you need to be wary of.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I really, really wish your first game was against Bangladesh. Why? Because then that would have eliminated a lot of pressure from this team. Bangladesh are a team that even when they get close, somehow they've got the our other neighbors vibe, whereby they will bottle it at the most crucial moments. You've seen it happen in 2016.
KL Rahul run out.
2022. So even there, Litin Das was going all guns blazing, and then that one run out changed everything.
Rain interruption and run out.
2016, you had I think they did 2 sixes, Mahmudullah. I mean,
then Hardik Pandya.
And what was that guy's name? And Mushfiqur was doing Nagin dances on the other side.
Mushfiqur was doing the Nagin dance. Mahmudullah gets a full toss. Mushfiqur Rahim gets an edge, passes, the ball goes past
everything that could go wrong after that.
That was proper drama. That was
cinema.
Drama.
Cinema.
If you look at India's 3 opponents.
I'm talking purely about T20 World Cup. But Nidas was another game that 34 needed of 12. How do you lose it from there, boss? How do you lose it from there? 5 needed of 1. Fine, you know, give a single, give a double, doesn't matter. No, you'll bowl a slot ball and tell him, DK, hit us for a 6, why not? So Bangladesh have that, and that's what I'm saying. I don't fear Bangladesh, but genuinely Afghanistan make me a little iffy. And less said about Australia in crucial stages of a World Cup, the better. I know what a lot of people are saying, oh, but they haven't looked at their best. They didn't.
But can I tell you one thing? This is something that I noticed while I was looking at the schedule for the teams India will be facing. Australia will be playing 2 Super 8 matches in a span of 24 hours.
Oh dear.
They've got back-to-back games.
Oh dear.
They're playing a 6 a.m. match against Afghanistan, I guess, and the following day they play India.
Oh dear.
Oh.
So there is actually no break for the Australian team, which calls for.
No, there is a day's gap.
No.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, actually by IST it is.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Indian time, if you see.
Oh, right. Oh, dear. So you have a day game and then you got a night game. Oh, Jesus. In fact,
Imagine if this was to happen to the Indian
it's the
team.
opposite. It's a night game, then a day game. That's worse.
Yeah.
It's a night game first, no? 12:30 a.m. GMT, 8:30 p.m. local. After that, the next day you're playing.
So look at that. That's the India time written over there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, so for them, the first match that they play of the doubles is a night game. Then the next day they're playing in the morning.
That's basically, like doing
That's torture.
Yeah, that's basically doing a graveyard shift one day and then coming on the morning shift.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. But then I think, talking about...
But this is cruel,
by the way. What you're talking about, I have done on back-to-back IPL finals. Not even kidding. And this year was still an easy IPL final because we were done early. Thank you, KKR, for that. But last year, 2023,
3 days.
The 3-day final, I left office at 3 a.m. and the only reason I did that was because I'm telling all these guys, listen, I have to be in the morning. 8 hours later, I'm back in office.
Oh.
So I don't even know what sleep I got. I don't remember. But it happens far more than you think. Australia drawn the short end of the straw, graveyard shift, early morning shift.
Shivam has something to say.
You guys have that experience, but you are not a part of Australian team.
Okay.
Oh.
We know that.
Yeah. She was basically saying, yes, you've done your bit, but it's much harder to be in the Australian. Rightly so, he's got a point because, being in office is one thing, but playing a match of cricket, imagine if the first game does last the entire 40 overs of it, and then for you to be ready for the next match, that too against India with qualification for the semi-final on the line. I'm telling you, there would have been a huge ruckus about this.
Or wouldn't have even happened.
To be meted to the Indian team.
It wouldn't have even happened because, quite frankly, the ruckus would have been pre-foreshadowed and they would have just quietly changed it.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember that one game we had? So that wasn't there, but Harshit will remember where we had a game in Gurgaon. And it was supposed to be a night game starting around 9 o'clock. So that we started at 12:13 night.
We finished that game at 3:30.
Reaching home at 5 o'clock in the morning, I was so thankful I had a day off that I could sleep. The others weren't so fortunate.
I came to work the next day, I remember.
Yeah, the others were not so fortunate. So everyone came.
Recently, that Pakistan match, I was at around 5 or 5 morning. And then I thought, let's switch.
Yeah. So what Shivam is telling you is that the day the Pakistan match took place, India-Pakistan that is, because obviously the match got severely delayed, Shivam ended up leaving at 5 in the morning. He was supposed to come back at 11 till common sense prevailed and he told someone, listen, swap ships with me because otherwise there's no chance 6 hours later I'm making it back alive here. So it does happen, and Australia, unfortunately, yikes, they've drawn the short end of the stick and surprisingly no hue and cry about it because it's not like they wouldn't have known. Again, seedings are all pre-decided.
Yeah.
Oh dear. And I thought the whole point
so
of
this, by the way, changes a few things here and there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually does. If you were to just say that, there was, or if in an ideal scenario, if this was a fresh Australian side with a proper 2-day break is what every team is getting between 2 matches or at least one proper day. Exactly. India playing 20th, 22nd, 24th. So 1 day game. But look at Australia. They play 23rd, then 24th.
True.
But I think...
And on different islands, no less.
Yeah.
Remember, they're playing Afghanistan, they're playing in St. Vincent, which is Kingstown.
I think it's possible that once Australia finish their Afghanistan game, they might have to leave for St. Lucia immediately after that.
Yeah.
So
how is this logical?
At all?
Yeah, there's no logic over here at all.
How is this? Oh my God, that's bad.
Back-to-back games. You don't even do that in the IPL.
Yeah.
This is the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, IPL, we were talking about teams having it tough if they were leaving. Like, I remember LSG, they had that one thing where they left Lucknow on Friday, then played KKR on Sunday in the 3:30 start. So they were obviously knackered. Imagine this. they'll be catching up with sleep in the flight. Ridiculous.
I just wonder when George Bailey will be playing. Will it be the India match?
or if we'll see Andrew McDonald.
Brad Hodge, Andrew McDonald. I just wonder when these folks will be playing because they'll have to now, I feel.
But then, talking about India's first opponent, Afghanistan, I feel that they are a major threat. Not just because of their spin bowling now, it's because of their pace bowling and even the openers too.
Yeah, but their batting is still limited
and
to
Ibrahim
the
Zadran.
Listen,
see, the middle order is basically kind of shaky. And if India can strike those, get those early wickets, I think Afghanistan will be in trouble.
Yeah, but their openers are the key. Again, it's Ibrahim Zadran and Gurbaz. Both of them have been in good form during this World Cup. And Gurbaz, actually, I think he got game time just at the right time for KKR. Yeah. He got it in the playoffs. Couple of games he had a couple of cameos, and since then he's actually kicked into form nicely over here. He's gotten a couple of 50s if I'm not mistaken.
If you look at the 2 games where Afghanistan won by batting first, it was their openers who did most of the damage or scored the majority of the runs, because even against New Zealand their middle order I think had a collapse. But still their bowlers did so well that New Zealand were like bundled up for 70.
And the tone was right, like you said, the tone was well set by the 2 openers.
Exactly.
I think they had an 80-90 run opening stand. We can just check that.
Against New Zealand they had 100 plus opening stand.
100 plus opening stand.
Even against both the teams.
And actually if you look at it, you see you got the 2 openers. Then otherwise also the batting, I know that having someone like a Kareem Jannat there can be a little, but Gulbuddin did well in the last game. He got a 47. In fact, he was the top scorer. So Gulbuddin can be hit or miss in terms of when he gets going, he's a very good all-rounder. Then you've got a Rashid, of course, we know what he can do. You've got a Nabi, you know what it is that he can do. And even an Azmatullah can be a tricky customer.
Yeah, true.
So actually, this is not a bad batting lineup, and dare I say, it's probably one of the better batting lineups Afghanistan have boasted in the past few years.
But the middle order is untested.
No, the middle order is untested and shaky.
And even failed also.
Fielding less than the better. Fielding less than the better. Yeah. They do tend to have. I think the only one really who's a very safe fielder, you've got Nabi, of course, you've got Rashid, who's a good fielder. True. Other than that, less than the better. Even Gurbaz, by the way, good keeper overall. But he's got the Rizwan syndrome of being very overexcited. Anything and everything.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of Niroshan Dekwela.
Oh my god, yes. Another one who had those overexcited ants in the pants syndrome.
Rizwan.
I just named Rizwan before. Rizwan was the same. So Afghanistan definitely a threat. I think Bangladesh, less said the better. Again, I know they have some threatening bowlers.
Tanzim is good.
Yeah.
Who could very well be facing a ban if all things.
Oh yes, Tanzim and Jakir Ali. Both these guys, naughty stuff that they did yesterday.
Big soup, and that too, it's so brazen a manner.
But they have a very good pace bowling attack. The Mustafizur, Taskin Ahmed, and then Tanzim.
Yeah, it's a good pace bowling attack, and actually they have a leg spinner also. I'm forgetting his name.
Roshan.
Bangladesh.
Shoriful Islam. Mohammad Shoriful Islam.
Yeah, Shoriful, which is in itself a rarity for Bangladesh, because again, they rarely if ever have wrist spinners. Yes. They're one of those teams that rely on finger spinners and on finger spinners bowling economically. They don't look for wicket taking spinners. That's a culture not just with the national team, but even most of the club cricket that happens at Dhaka and whatnot. So that's why you don't see many wrist spinners break through. Yes. But now, having a Shoriful there in itself was something that was, I think it was Rishad Hussain.
He's a leg spinner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Rishad is the one. So Rishad Hussain is another one who can get you handy runs lower down the order as well, and a rarity for them that they've managed to bring in a leg break bowler. That's very rare. True. You don't see it happen that often, and decent numbers as well. 22 wickets. Again, look at that economy. 7.09 in T20 is not bad at all, and we know what it is that happens to Indians with relatively unknown spinners.
Yeah, true.
It can be a worry, but other than that,
we're talking about Steve O'Keefe earlier in the day.
Steve O'Keefe, yeah. Oh, Ashton Agar,
Tom Hartley also.
Matthew Kuhneman.
Yeah, Matt Kuhneman.
Kuhneman, and what's his other guy? Murphy.
Murphy.
But
Murphy. I think the thing about Bangladesh is that makes them more threatening now is that they are match winners who have been done it for them on most of the occasions. They've actually struck form at the right time. Mustafizur, Taskin, then Shakib also scored that crucial 50 against Netherlands.
It's Mahmudullah, I think, was yet to kick into form.
Mahmudullah has done.
He had one good match.
Yeah, he had one good match.
Then he had the opportunity
almost
to close
got
out the game.
Against South Africa. Yeah, I think Tawhid Hridoy is also a good, young basher. He's doing well. I think it's Litton Das who just has to strike form, because once he does it, I think they'll be pretty much.
Well, for that matter, I'd say even their captain, Najmul Hossain Shanto, hasn't really had that much of a contribution, and it's a big vote of confidence that was given to him before the World Cup that he was named their all-format captain.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a big vote of confidence. Really. I remember it was Shanto who led the team on a couple of occasions in the World Cup when Shakib was not playing. He was injured or sitting out, and it was Shanto who was leading the team, and then they named him the all-format captain. I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. So he also needs to find some form. Other than that, see, there's a lot of potential in that team, but it's also very much a transitional side. They've let go of a lot of senior players have actually been phased out. You don't see a Mushfiqur Rahim there. You don't see Mahmudullah is one of the rare older players who's there. But and a Shakib too. But other than that, and Mustafiz. That's it. Litton has always been in and out. A good player, but phenomenally inconsistent.
Taskian recovered well in time.
Taskian, yes. Again, what's his name? Tanzim Hassan, Jakir Ali. These are all good players.
Tanzim looks good.
Yes.
Tanzim does look good.
21 dot balls against Nepal. Jeez, that's a record for the T20 World Cup.
Look at his wickets against South Africa as well. The time that he trapped Bakram in front of the stumps. Some spirited bowling that you're seeing from Bangladesh right now. It could be KG if you were to ask me, but I think India do get the better of Bangladesh, as has been the case over the last few encounters that we've had with them in T20 World Cups.
Whereas
either way, by the way.
For Afghanistan
and Australia, it could go either way. The only advantage I'm giving in India now is because Australia had that kind of a schedule. Now they don't get to take the India game for granted because you don't know what happens in the Afghanistan game. They anyway won't have, but now things just become harder for you.
Exactly.
And that's why I think Australia did the right thing by resting Cummins from 2 of their 4 matches in the group stage. Cummins did not play the last game against Scotland.
Interesting. Are we going to see?
He did not play the first game against Oman.
So are we going to see more reels now where that very popular song is playing? The silencer, indeed. Anyway, shall we take some questions?
We could. Yes.
Let's see. Shreyans Jain says, I hope Rinku logs Dubey in the room and comes in the 11. That is probably not happening, Shreyans, but interesting thought nevertheless. I would have liked it. Freaking Awesome says, playing against Afghanistan in Barbados is not a big threat. It will, if we play against them in Guyana or St. Vincent, then it'll be a toughie. But Freaking Awesome, Barbados also had one win game. It was Bridgetown only, Barbados, where Oman, Namibia went to a super over, and it was very low scoring, 109. So if you get that pitch, and again you get something of that sort, don't forget pitches will be tiring now.
You've seen runs there as well. Australia scored 201 over there. Australia, I think, played another game over there and scored about 160, or maybe was it Afghanistan? I think it was Afghanistan that played a match and scored about 164 runs there. So there are runs over there,
Exactly. In fact, as Sanjay also points out, that Afghanistan can be a threat on a batting surface because minus their openers, the bowling and batting top order is managing to get a good run in, and it'll be a good contest. I agree. I do think it'll not be as much of a walkover as you would see it in, say, ODI cricket.
Yeah.
Definitely not really the case. Anshul Oberoi says that Pakistan is the only team whose bowlers are far better than batters, both in bowling and batting. Oh dear God.
Last night, Abbas Afridi and Shaheen Afridi won them the match.
Shaheen Afridi will definitely
can't forget Babar Azam, the anchor.
Yeah. Mayank Madan says, we'll take Demon Slayer fan. Show me one or the other. Mayank Madan says, Nichols is having some summer vacay plus work. First New York, then Miami, then Caribbean Islands. Absolutely. That's the beauty of this World Cup.
Yeah.
He says, I just see... I didn't complete the comment.
I just see
only Kuldeep replacing Siraj in the playing 11.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I think that would be the only change, because if you have to drop a pacer, it isn't going to be Arshdeep, not the way he's been playing. Plus, he always gives you that left-hand option. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Demon Slayer says that no way is Jaiswal not in the playing 11. A player of the 160 strike rate is benched, and Rohit Virat will play very slow opening. Yashasvi Jaiswal ski to win the cup. Demon Slayer fan, I mean, I do agree with you, but I think that ship has sadly sailed away into the Caribbean somewhere. Let's see. A lot of
will be a part of India's transition after the T20.
I really hope so, because I've been hearing transition talk for 2 years now, and
No, it's happening after this.
I really hope so. A lot of people pointing out, yes, Rishad, indeed it is, as Sarat points out, yes, our bad, it happens sometimes. Let's
But
see.
you're talking about the left arm pacer, no?
No, I was talking about the leg spinner.
Okay, leg spinner. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought that you're talking about the left arm pacer. Sure,
Rishad. Priyanshu says that Park didn't qualify for the West Indies leg, so that Gary doesn't feel unsafe. Dear God. If India bottle it again in the semis with Gigi coming, do you see a new captain for the Champions Trophy 25? No, I don't see a new, not for that format.
Because you're only going to be effectively 7 months away. February is when you're looking at it.
I think India
his appointment becomes official not before the first week of July.
I think Rohit stays as the captain until the next WTC final, if India reach the WTC final.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I think the last captaincy thing that we have is potentially that Champions Trophy could very well be it as well. So anyway, we'll take your leave, shall we?
Yeah.
Thank you,
Let us know
guys.
your thoughts in the comments. What do you see as far as the 3 opponents that India will face in the Super 8s? What do you look at them as tough opponents, not so tough? Is it a, easy walk for India into the semis? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. For now, Shane Dias, Siddharth Gulati, Harshit Ahuja, here from Sports Today. We take your leave. Shivam, our dear producer, also says bye-bye to you. And on that, good night. Tada.
Nandri, Vanakkam, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair, eat your vegetables and
don't trouble your mother.
subscribe to Sports Today if you haven't already. Go ahead. Bye-bye.